Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. So before we get started, just want to do a subscriber shout out. Big, massive, bunker busting thank you to Kurt Metz for providing loads and loads and loads of new and really cool and just really high quality channel art. Kurt, you've been churning this stuff out, and the consistent high quality is absolutely fantastic. I honestly don't know what to choose for profile pictures, banners. I just don't know what to choose. All I can say is absolutely massive thank you. And to anyone out there who's interested in 40k art, go and check out Kurt Metz's DeviantArt page. I believe it's DeviantArt. Let me double check before I get it wrong. Yep, DeviantArt. I will be putting a link to this going forward into each one of my videos because I think it's such a massive contribution that it deserves that at the very least. And I just want to say absolutely massive thank you. It's really, really good stuff. And I highly encourage every single person who watches this video to go and check out some of Kurt's artwork. It is very, very impressive. It's not just Imperial Guard stuff. That you will find artwork for pretty much every single faction in multiple different styles of 40k, and it's all it's all really, really cool. So thank you very much, Kurt. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really appreciate the support. So what I want to talk about today is the ITC. Now, I had my first experience of an ITC tournament this weekend, and it was interesting. I just want to give some general thoughts, feedback, and sort of tips and tricks when playing the ITC or an ITC tournament. So, essentially, ITC is an attempt to run a balanced tournament competitive rule set, and it's aimed around it's aimed around discouraging people from tabling each other, and it's more about scoring points. So it is perfectly possible in the ITC, this is the biggest thing that I noticed, to be tabled, yet you still score all the points that you scored in that game. And in theory, it is possible to be tabled and win on objectives and still beat your opponent. Which is crazy, but it's cool. If your opponent just focuses on killing stuff every single turn, then he will miss out on key objective points. And that will mean that he's got a good chance of actually losing the game. So that's fantastic. So how it works is there are generally four objectives on every single mission, and each one of those objectives is deployed symmetrically. So sometimes they'll be in a box, sometimes they'll be in a cross, but that's it basically. And so you get every turn, I think there's 5 points available, and you get a point every turn, no matter what, if you have an objective, which is cool. So as long as you have an objective, you're at least scoring 1 point every single turn. So that's really, really good. Now, if you have more points than your opponent, then you get another point. If you have more objectives than your opponent, then you get another point. So like I said, if your opponent ignores all the objectives and just goes kill, 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 you're guaranteed 2 points a turn. And he's at most guaranteed 1 if he just goes for one objective and you've got 2. And then it's a case of you get 1 point if you kill an enemy unit. Okay? So it's obviously, if someone's going all out, I'm going to kill, 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 then they're obviously going to get that every single time. But there's nothing stopping you from getting that point as well. So if all you have to do is pick on a weaker unit. So if your opponent's got a Death Star and you know I don't have the firepower to kill a Death Star, then you go hunting his 5 or 6 weaker units he's going to have. So it's possible, assuming you're playing the point side of things, you to get 3 points a turn. Now your opponent will get 1 point a turn, but then he'll also get a point if he has killed more stuff than you. But if we look at this from an objective side versus a pure killing side of things, the person who focuses on the objectives has a chance to get 3 points every turn. The person who focuses on maximum killing only really has a chance to get 2 points a turn if they don't hold any objectives. Now then, this balances out. And this is the whole key about balance. This balances out because if someone goes for maximum kill and holds 1 objective, then they'll get 3 points. And if someone goes for maximum objectives and a little bit of kill, then they'll get 3 points. And so that's balanced. So there's a balance between kill, 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 and score, score, score. So that's quite good. However, the issue I have with it, in theory that sounds great. In practicality, what I tended to find would happen is someone would go kill, 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 and the score would be relatively even the first 2 or 3 turns, but then turns 4, 5, and 6, the person who's been focusing on scoring objectives is suddenly finding it really hard to score any more objectives because they're losing things constantly. And so it tends to be the case that someone who went for kill, 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 pardon me, can start swinging the game and it becomes very much in their favour. So I think in theory, essentially, although in theory it's meant to balance, in reality what happens is if you focus on objectives, at least you'll get some good points. You won't do as badly. You'll get some points. So I think that's essentially what it comes down to. And I think it's essentially, if you're going to get tabled, just score as many points as possible. Because this leads me on to the second thing, is that wins and losses aren't that important. What is important is your raw tournament score. So basically, how many points you score. So if someone's killing loads of things and catching loads of objectives and they get like 30 points, and that's great for them. But if you were just focusing on objectives non-stop and you're able to get 17 points, then you still, even if you get tabled, you still get your 17 points. So you might end. So I had a really weird situation where even though I won my first game by a lot and then lost my second game by quite a lot, I was still considered upper tier in the pack. So I ended up facing in my third round an even worse matchup. And even though I lost 2 games and only won 1 game, out of a 40-player tournament, I still came 14th, which would have been impossible in a traditional tournament. So I definitely see the advantage in focusing on going for objectives. If you know you're going to lose, just go for objectives. Now, that's talking about primaries. Secondary objectives are really, really interesting. And I'm not sure. I think it could do with this area could do with a little tweaking. I think it's close, but it could do with a little tweaking. What I found was, the secondaries, there's a list of about 10, and you get to pick 3, and you can score a maximum of 12 points from all your secondaries. So the one that I found every single person went for was Old School. Every single person went for Old School. And Old School basically gives you the ability to score First Blood, the ability to get Linebreaker, the ability to get Warlord, and the ability to get, it's called Last Strike, where if you kill something in the very last turn, then you get an extra point. So I found everyone went for that because everyone wanted to get that point for First Blood. And everyone wanted to get that point for Linebreaker. And Warlord was a bonus and the other one was a bonus. But it's basically a guaranteed 2 extra points. which is kind of interesting. And then I found, and then there's one called Recon, where if you have something in every table quarter, you get a point every turn. I took that one because I would often just have chimeras all over the place. And then the one I actually really liked, which caught my opponents out in 2 out of 3 games, was Line Breaker. Now, Line Breaker is a secondary where if you have 2 units in your opponent's deployment zone, in 2 units in your opponent's, within 12 inches of your opponent's longest table edge, then you get a point. Now, it was really possible for me. What I did is I got this, because considering, guys, there's 6 game turns. Okay, guaranteed 6 game turns in ITC. So what I would do is I would send my 2 lone wolf chimeras, which is 2 chimeras, 2 infantry squads, and 2 platoon commanders. I would send those both straight up the flanks. Straight up the flanks, doing a drive-by shooting as they go. And then when they'd sit in the corners, firing, 24 inches away, firing lasgun shots, heavy bolter shots, heavy stubber shots. So they're still doing what they're meant to be doing, and it only takes you 2 turns to get there. And considering you can only score like a maximum of 12 extra points, this was fine because it basically meant I got Line Breaker. I got 4 points out of Line Breaker pretty much every single turn. Now sometimes you can get even more points from that, because if you can get there turn 1, if you move and advance, you don't make it, but then turn 2 you get in there, then that's 5 points you can get from that. If you get the turn 3, it's 4 points. So that's 5 guaranteed points, because that's 6. Essentially, they kill one of the chimeras, the 2 units pop out. They kill the other chimera, 2 units pop out. That's still 4 units. So I had like 2 platoon commanders like running around, just moving themselves, just constantly getting Line Breaker, just doing whatever they could to keep Line Breaker for an extra turn. And often it worked. It got me a couple of extra points every game. And they're also helping you get Recon by having something in every table quarter, because you've got your main DACA forces on your side of the table, and you've got these lone wolf squads on their side of the table. So you're getting, from turn 2 onwards, if you want it, Recon and Line Breaker. And that means you're getting 10 points guaranteed. Now that's really, a minimum of 10, a maximum of 10, a minimum of 8 points straight up. That's like fantastic. Then if you're able to hold an objective every single turn, that's another 6 points. So you're already on 14 points basically before the game started. If you can do that, you're on 14 points before the game even starts. And then if you've got and then originally I thought old school was really, really good, but looking back at it, I'm not sure how good old school is. If there's another, I didn't read them all properly, it's my first tournament, but if there's another like land grab one, that's the one I'd go for as a guard player. I'd go for all the land grab ones you can do. Line Breaker and Recon, fantastic. Think about it. You don't have to do it with the lone wolf squads if you don't want to. Deep strike in a single 5-man Tempesta squad, put it in the back corner. There you go. Back corner, 2 of those, 1 on each corner. Don't even draw attention to them. Don't even shoot them. It's 100 points. Bam, you just get in. I prefer the way I do it because it's 6 units which are hard to kill. It's 23 wounds each, so 46 wounds. That's a lot for people to stop. And so, yeah, overall, now the criticisms I have is that some of the secondaries are complete dog shit, and some of them are obvious picks. I think there needs to be a few more. I think there needs to be maybe 2 extra ones to add a bit more variety. Because I found people just taking the same ones every single game. I also feel like the primaries can be a bit boring because it's always the same thing for objectives. Yes, it's balanced, but yes, it's a bit samey. I would not want to do a 2-day tournament of ITC. 1-day tournament, that's fine. 2-day tournament, not so much. I'm trying to think of anything else really, guys. Oh, the big one, which I actually didn't find a problem, but I can imagine would be an absolute nightmare in some scenarios, is when fighting, when ruins are involved, the bottom floor completely blocks line of sight. It's true line of sight apart from trying to look through a ruin. Basically, you have to look through the second floor or below or above. So that was really, really difficult. That was really, at first I thought that'd be really annoying, but it actually didn't bother me all that much because I just set up like overlapping fields of fire, not the stratagem, just realistic. I had chimeras and Lehman Russes on. I had units in every single third of my deployment zone, so that no matter where the opponent came at me from, and they've all got a minimum of 36 range, no matter where my opponent came at me from, I was able to hit him. So, and I played on a lot of ruins that in my first game. So, yeah. So, there you go. ITC, I like it. Now, I potentially am going to another one of these tournaments on the 1st of July, if I am available. It's going to be another critical hit one. It's going to be the same format. If I'm free, I'm going to it, and I highly recommend anyone else who can go to it checking it out. Critical Hit Gamer Cafe ITC tournament. It was really, really fun. There's probably about a maximum of 40 slots they can do because it was very crammed on the weekend. But so if you're interested, make sure you go in. Make sure you're registered, basically. Yeah, it was really, really good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope it's explained a little bit about ITC that some of you may not be aware of. And overall, yeah, it's a really good little format. I actually really like it. A lot of people in my club think ITC is rubbish and it should all be about the ETC. I don't think I've played ETC in a while. I used to play it in 6th edition or 7th edition, one of the two. But this actually stood out as actually being really good. I really enjoyed the ITC. It just made sense. The ruins thing, whilst annoying, made sense because it just added a lot more of line of sight blocking terrain, which even though that's bad for me as a guard player, totally helped balance out many of my games. Or I saw the logic in it. I saw it created balance in a lot of situations. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave lots of comments. Go check out Kurt Metz's DeviantArt. And of course, thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next time.